I know a lot of people struggle with it. Now, let's start with this. Is self-esteem a mental health illness, or a mental illness, or a mental disorder?
I wouldn't call it disorder. I think self-esteem is, from what I know, wow, that's actually a really, really serious question, because even when I battled my depression, I guess a lot of factors came together and they built it into the condition I was suffering. So I had self-esteem issues, self-hate, pain, all kinds of things, and it manifested itself into the beautiful illness that it became. Self-esteem may not particularly be a mental health issue, but it's tied to emotional issues and can manifest into mental health issue. If you don't love yourself, and it's something that you tend to always ponder on, you are actually going to sink into a complete dark hole of finding reasons not to love yourself or improve yourself. And then you spiral down. Self-esteem, to me, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, but from my understanding, every single thing starts with the inner child. Do you know that thing that when you're little, where you're told, don't touch that, don't say that to them, because her dad is the head teacher, don't talk to her because she travels a lot and she doesn't really want friends that don't travel like her. Do you see how certain things and impressions, things that have happened to you, tend to create the person that you are? Everything you've been told not to do. I'm not saying children should not be given caution, but the things you have been told off for, the things that you've been told off for that you didn't feel were fair, or things that were unfairly done to you, stick to you, and they create and shape the person you are today. The things we see, observe from our parents, our sisters, our brothers, teachers, anybody, the things you've been told, they actually come together and form your beliefs. So think about it. We come into this world a completely blank canvas. We're perfect. We're complete. And being told that you're not allowed to go sit there because you're fat. Imagine being told you're not allowed to stand by those people. It could be said in a joke. No, don't stand by those people. You're too tall. You make everyone look short. Or you're too short. You make the people that are tall need to take a picture. Or, it's not like you're not pretty. It's just that person that you think you want to hang out with, they prefer lighter skinned people. Then your mind starts to build different things where you don't feel you belong in certain situations. It gets to the point that you don't even need anyone to break you down. You wake up and you break you down. So you wake up in the morning and you go, you know what? Those people walking through that thing in school, all the girls are wearing really nice perfume and their hairs are tied up sleek. I can't really hang out with them because I have nothing to say. And then you meet people who are also battling self-esteem, who take that energy to put you down because they have to feel good about themselves. Because it's funny to make fun of you because it happened that maybe you're the kid who comes to school with a torn bag, or the kid who comes to school with a really nice bag. So we're talking about something that can affect you from when you're a child. I could go on about it, from watching your parents fight, from watching words being exchanged in the home. You are literally, every single thing that is coming in your life is literally patching itself and forming itself. And that self-esteem issue could start from when you're a child. It could even start when you're an adult. When somebody blatantly tells you something that you don't believe about yourself, but later you start to believe it. So we're talking about complete damage, and people struggle with this. So yes, self-esteem is something that starts off as people receiving whatever the environment and people around them give them. But it manifests itself into the worst self-destructive tool you have out there. If you have, especially with me when I battle depression, Lord. I'll give you an example. My house is a bit messy today. Do you know what I did? I sat down and I completely blanked out every single way I cleaned up a few days ago to say, I just live in a mess. Do you know where that came from? It came from being told, you're messy. It doesn't mean I have to go meet the person and beat them up for saying it to me, but it's manifested itself into a 40-year-old woman who feels that one little mistake makes her a mess. So yes. Sorry, if that made any sense.
No, you are making a lot of sense, because you said a few things that I might not refer to now because they're quite personal to me, and I'm not ready to let go of certain things. I remember there was a certain time I went home, and I think it was a relative, not my immediate family, any of my immediate family, who said it. Said something like, you just dey fat. Which man go marry you as you fat like this? Wetin go happen if you born pikin now? And I think that stayed with me somehow, even though I was just like, I didn't even answer him, and I was pissed, but he's an older person, so I just ignored him and went away. And I did realize it stayed with me. There are times where I would obsessively in a day, it will be like 50 times, I don't count, but obsessively check my weight. And when I see that I'm getting to a point that some of my clothes don't fit anymore, clothes that I was able to wear a few months or weeks ago, and I start to be like, nobody's actually going to find me attractive. Yeah. So I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, Yeah. And then maybe something will happen between me and my partner, and I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm not attractive anymore. I'm fat and ugly, so this person is not finding me attractive anymore. And then it sinks me down into this deep, dark hole where I feel like I'm useless, I'm not worthy, I would be alone, I can't even do anything right. The thing about it is that it seeps into other things. It seeps into, your friendships, your work, because then you start to feel, I start to feel like I can't do anything right. I can't be right about anything.
Well, I mean, you gave the perfect example about weight. Even if you wanted to stop obsessing or worrying about weight the odd times you do, the media is not going to let you stop. Instagram is not going to let you stop. Every other social media out there is not going to let you stop. And anyone who feels terrible about themselves are not going to let you stop. This is why we talked about being in your inner self. I battled my weight all my life. I was the fat girl. And it didn't help because I was the fat black girl, the one with the dark skin. I use jokes. I try to be very, very funny. Like anyone who knows me would say, Susie was the funniest. I would make a joke about every single thing, even myself. But I realized something about me was that I had a certain sensitivity about me where I couldn't really mock people for the way they looked or the way they talked. But instead, I would put it to myself. But you know what I did to myself as well? And I hope that this would help anyone out there. My making jokes and completely hiding my pain and allowing people make jokes about me and my weight and any feature on my body, it was actually me literally abusing myself and allowing the abuse, which brought in a circle of disrespect. So when people I was joking with got upset with me, the condescending manner to which they would treat me without even having to use particular words was obvious. I literally took my self-respect away. So do you see what I mean? Self-esteem is actually you trying to when people lack self-esteem, you have no self-respect. It's like you're completely devoid of self-love. And when people say love yourself, you find yourself typing it, it's okay, because sometimes you can get those little quotes, life begins when you love yourself. But sometimes when you're asked to do, because I listen to an inspirational speaker or spiritual teacher, Louise Hay, and she says, try the mirror test. Go to the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. And I go to the mirror and I'm looking at the mirror like, and when I say it, I don't believe it. So yeah, we are battling a lot of things. And now it's not just what people say. Like, I'm glad you gave that example where that person's talked about you being big and, marriage and so many things. Of course, maybe marriage was not on your mind the day you walked through that door that day. But the last that somebody actually trying to tell you that you are not enough,
Mm.
but the person thinks they're helping you by telling you how your body form, when it changes, it's really not going to be pleasing to anyone you marry. Trying to say, you know what, shape up, because you would not be counted amongst the ones that have actually been physically fit or more appealing to their eyes. Yeah, you shook it off, but you know what? It's stuck. This is why sometimes I tell people, you know what? It's okay to actually turn and reply someone, I don't really like what you said. That was very hurtful. And that's it. So yes, self-esteem. It's I mean, I wish I could say things like how to get your self-esteem back, but I'm going to be a hypocrite and start telling you that, you know, I did this, I did that. No. I think the main thing about getting your self-esteem back is to actually find out all the limiting beliefs you've had about yourself, write it down, and ask yourself, where did this come from? Sometimes, you know, our obsessive with dieting comes from our mothers or our aunties. Your mother might joke, oh, you know, I'm on a diet. You're 2 years old crawling around that place. You've literally registered the word diet. That's it. So sometimes you need to actually ask yourself where certain things came from. Ask
Wow.
where, that's it. Where did it come from?
I
That's
really never thought about it like that. I think there was a time I tried to do certain things, like, you know, I would take a notepad and I would write all of the fears I had inside, you know, and I would then put like something, not like its origin, like find out where it came from. I would not look for responses to it, because it got so bad to a point that there was a time I went home and we're at a wedding. And then they came to ask me what I wanted to eat. I was like, oh, I want probably, I can't remember, something with rice, because I'm crazy about rice. They brought the rice, and I was about to take a spoon to my mouth, and the voice in my head was like, are you not fat enough? And I, you know, previously when we're talking about what not to say and how to say, and talking about religion, and where I said that there are times where the Holy Spirit has actually helped me in some sort of way. Yeah. And this is one of those times. And I was about to drop the spoon, and the scripture came into my head, and it was like, you know, I will paraphrase it. I can't remember all of it. And it was like, He has given me power over all things. And in those words, it was like, food He has given me to consume as much as I want. So I should eat that food. The voice automatically just faded away, and I ate that food. If I was allowed to ask for seconds, I would have asked for seconds. Exactly. And I never really thought about, you know, finding the root causes for certain things. Because aside from the physical image, you know, there are times where I feel like I'm not good enough in terms of, you know, work, or doing something related to what I studied. I have an issue with what I studied. I studied theatre and media arts. And a lot of the times when people see us probably rehearsing, they will always like, those people, their parents just spent money for them to come and waste it in school. What is theatre and media arts? It's just for you to be dancing and dancing. If you want to learn how to dance and film, you can go for sub-courses. Why are you coming to school to waste money 4 years? So whenever it comes to presenting, whenever it comes to, you know, doing anything, because I concentrated more on media arts, whenever it comes to doing something related to media arts, I always get nervous. And I'm like, really? Can you really do it? You studied theatre arts. If you really wanted media, why did you go and study mass communication? You went to waste your time, kind of thing. So that is why today, you know, before we started this video, I was like, I'm so nervous. I always get nervous shooting or recording a video. There is no video up on my channel right now that I didn't take over 30 minutes to prepare for.
Can I just say a couple of things there? And it's
Yes.
I'm going to point out a couple of things. It's not me trying to whole cheerleader thing. First of all, you were alive and whole enough to do a course. Secondly, it's a general belief that if you're not a nurse, a doctor, nurse is even substandard in Nigeria, and they're or a lawyer, you haven't done anything in your life. It's actually amazing how in the beautiful world we live today, we tend to have certain misconceptions or beliefs. But here you are today, you got a channel together. Like you, I have been trying to build a channel or do something, and I've not been able to bring myself to do it because I put the limitations on myself. But you know, the most powerful thing I've gotten from you today in everything you've said is I'm nervous, I prepare, it takes me 30 minutes. But do you see how it works where the main thing is you do it anyway? And that's the
Yeah.
case of I feel the fear, but I do it anyway. So I would see most of your fears or any kind of being nervous as a preparation because you want to present the good quality and the lovely person that you are that wants to heal people. So yes, it's fine to and it's true. It's like, you know, the same way you said when you wanted to eat. Do you remember that example where you were like, you know what? I'm eating this. So it's the same way, you know what? I am actually trying to prepare the best thing ever because I'm having the best show ever. And the best show just requires a little polishing. So I'm in the polishing process because you are doing such an amazing thing. Imagine getting to the point, look, you, people are actually sending you messages to ask you questions about certain emotions that they have not been able to ask for most of their lives. Do you know what that means? So, hey, that's all I have to say.
I really, really appreciate that.
No,
You
but
know, you always have a way of,
no,
of making me blush.
it's the truth. It's the truth. You know, I left. You know, I used to do photography. I left it because I gave up. Because I gave up, not because of people, but because
Okay.
things that told me from when I was a child that I couldn't do things, they came back to haunt me. And every single thing and every experience. So, say somebody, I mean, not to, I'm trying to summarize because you know, when you have a story, everyone has a story to tell. So you just go off a tangent. Every
Yeah.
experience I went through, from people making promises or people disappointing me, they came and manifested themselves a lot last year. And I had to look and dig within. I found out that from when I was a child, everything came and manifested itself and it put me at a complete block. I'm now at a stage of recovering and healing. So that's why I'm just saying to you that for you to put something out there and for you, for people to actually reach out to you, that means that you are doing a lot of things right. And even if it takes you an hour to prep next time or 2 hours to prep next time, it's because you have a lot of quality material that needs to be out there. And it doesn't matter if you, and I know the thing is, you just say to yourself, well, you know what, I don't care if I dive or I fall or whatever. But you know, it's actually quite exciting because I laugh at myself some days. I'm like, you know what? It's really funny. The other day, all I was trying to do was post a letter, and it took me 2 days to post that letter. Sometimes you need to find humor in your hesitation. That's the first step to actually giving yourself that little boost of confidence. And I'm trying that now. Because now sometimes when I punish myself about messy, but thinking about it now as I'm talking to you, I'm actually laughing and I'm going, oh my God, I'm actually messy. But that's cute. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, that's what I think.
True. True.
Yeah.
So, in other words, for people struggling with, self-esteem issue, is like you said, find the root cause, find where it all came from,
Yeah.
what makes you think that way, what makes you feel that way, and by doing that, you're able to, find solutions and help yourself deal with it.
No, because I'm gonna say this. If you think I'm too black, what is your limiting belief on being too black? I'm too fat. What is your limiting belief on being fat? I'm too thin. What is your limiting belief about that? If I read theater arts, I'll never make money. What is your limiting belief on theater arts? You have to find the root cause because really, when a course is advertising, it doesn't say, hi, this is a course offered by the University of Cambridge. And if you do this course, you will never be successful. No, but
True.
seriously, nothing has been
True.
sold to us in this world as negative. It is our limiting belief that we attach to every single thing. Same way we talked about mental health. Some people literally have limiting beliefs on mental health, and they will take that limiting belief and it will manifest in different ways because you were there having fun in school while people turned and shook their heads and had pity for your parents. The pity your parents didn't have for. So that is what I'm saying, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me because you actually told me you've had to cut people off. If anybody
Yeah.
wants to sort out any issues with self-confidence, I don't care if you've known that friend for 500 years. I don't care if that friend was there when your child's umbilical cord was cut. I don't care if your friend was there the first day you got your job or shared your first anniversary cake with you. If that person has ever said something and continuously says things that manifest in different ways, you really need to let them go, because I really did have friends that were tearing me down. And God knows, I had 100 things to be grateful to them for. But one thing always made the presence of that one thing that they had an influence in my life. So it's the same way. So if it's a family person, if it's anyone that has asked you, apart from them finding the root cause, tell them to try and see the things that are still affecting it. If it's people, if it's media, anything, they need to cut it off. And the only time they can reopen it is if they're ready. And if they feel they're not ready, they're not ready. It's life. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. I had a friend I've known for years, and I was scared of her. Scared. If she said one word, I had to say yes. The day I cut her off from my heart, even though I talked to her, it was like a death. But I'm here with you today. I'm talking to you. So you see, I'm not talking to you as someone that wanted to come online and have talks. And I really, really wish people could see that, but you can only see you. Well, this is someone that I literally had to live in the shadow of people's words and actions and be the joker. So if anyone is struggling with confidence issues, and I know it hurts because I struggle with it as well, they need to start finding the root causes. People don't plant seeds. You have to, I mean, come on. A farmer is not going to go around the whole road and throw their seeds all over the place and be wondering, did I mix the apple seed with the mango seed? I don't know where did I put the rice? No, a farmer actually knows which plots. So you really need to go back and retrace your steps, because you know where every single seed in your life was planted, and every seed you planted. And you need to see which one grew and which one was meant to grow, that you literally put down because you had a limiting belief that you manifested into your life, that is operating. It's literally driving the car. And the inner, true, hardworking self that has that. I mean, look at you. I wish I had read the arts. I always wanted to read the arts because I thought to myself I was amazing and I was smart. Well, the limiting belief with that was, you're not really that funny. But you know what? I took it, and here I am today, admiring you that actually read something I wanted to read. So can you see? Exactly.
You know, another thing from what you just said, is another thing that I got from there is perception.
Yeah.
You know, you you have changed my perception in a way, because it's almost like, okay, now look at something that you are, taking on from people in terms of them feeding your mind with negative stuff. Somebody else is saying that is what they wished they had studied. So it's like, I really appreciate you for that. Really, I really appreciate you for that.
I'm not saying it. You're talking in your Malia, you're doing your videos and you're talking, and you're like, hey guys, and you're talking and smiling. I'm like, wow. No, but it takes that process. But someone is just gonna watch and pass and look at the YouTube, and maybe you know how it is with YouTube. Some people can just make a comment. They're feeling really bad about themselves. Oh no, you're not making any sense today. Of course, the person has to bring out that file. And I'm sorry if you happen to be the casting YouTube video. You have to just take it. So it's what you do with whatever bow you're taking. So yeah, that's what I think. So I hope I've sort of shared my knowledge on the confidence issues and finding.
You have.